The day is finally here. So last week, if you guys remember, I asked you guys to send me your custom cards that were trying to fix the all-powerful Gate Guardian so that the DuelLogs and I could review them in a video. This is that video, and I'm really excited here to have everyone's fifth favorite custom card reviewer in today's discussion because you are the custom card expert after all. You know, I don't know where I would be on that list of custom card reviewers. I think it'd be like 20. But I will say that this was really fun. I was expecting to get, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 responses from you guys, and we got like over 300 replies on that initial tweet, and it was only up for a week, which is just incredible. So thank you so much. I will try to do this again sometime. It was a lot of fun. And I will also say that fixing Gate Guardian with one card is pretty much impossible. A lot of people talked about that. I know it's difficult, but we just wanted to get through as many cards as possible in a discussion, so we didn't want to spend like the time reading through 10 cards that you would make for a Gate Guardian structure deck, but I think we picked some good ones here. If you guys do not know the DuelLogs, which I'm sure you already do because I think more people know you than they know me. If you don't know him, his channel is in the description below. Make sure to go check him out. He has a pretty cool series going on right now about banned cards if you guys are interested in hearing about that. Anyway, though, let's start off here with the Guardian Rises. So this is one that, admittedly, it has a lot of typos, but I really like this one because I read a lot of cards. Probably the most common submission, actually, was people having a card that was like, send copies of the pieces to the graveyard from your deck to E-Telly Gate Guardian, but this one did something very interesting with that idea. So this one says, banish one of each of the pieces from either your hand, deck, or field to special summon one Gate Guardian or one monster with Gate Guardian in its text from your hand or graveyard. Then, immediately after this card has successfully resolved, apply these effects depending on where the cost for this card was sent from. If you used cards from your hand, the monster summoned by this effect is immune to your opponent's card effects. If you use cards from your deck, the monster summoned by this effect gains 1000 attack and defense, and if you somehow manage to use a card on your field, you get to send 3 cards from your opponent's field to the graveyard. I liked this card because it wasn't just the same old of send them from your deck to the graveyard to special summon the Gate Guardian. It gave you certain benefits if you were willing to actually use cards in your hand or on your side of the field, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's an interesting way to do it. And I remember when I saw this one, I was like, oh, this one has effects based on the cost.
This is slightly different, but it does remind me of like Chaos Dragon Levianeer for giving you different effects based on like which card attributes you banish. But no, this one is like pretty unique.
All right, so this one, Gate Defender. I remember the person who sent this in, like they actually customly drew the artwork for this.
Did they really? That's
I even
insane.
like went through their Twitter.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I went through their Twitter to like double check. And yeah, their artwork that they post on their Twitter is the exact same style as this. So they made it for this contest.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I think they even put their name in the artwork now that I see it. Ray V. And the effect itself is actually pretty good. Like, I was surprised. So it's 2 level 7 monsters with different names as its materials. It gains effects based on the number of Sangha, Kaze, and Suijin with different names in your graveyard. If there's 1 or more, the attack of level 7 or lower monsters your opponent controls becomes 0. 2 or more, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, tribute this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Then special summon a Gate Guardian from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. And if it's in the graveyard, banish 2 level 7 monsters from your graveyard, special summon this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. So it seems really strong. Like the first effect, pretty minor effect. Like if there's only 1 of those cards in the graveyard, level 7 or lower monsters become 0.
Yeah.
Which fits in line with the original 3 cards, but the second one is the really strong. It's kind of like Stardust Dragon.
Except it really encourages you to use like 2 of the pieces to summon it. Or, I mean, what's cool about this card that I liked a lot when you first sent it to me was that even if you were just summoning this thing using like any 2 level 7 monsters with different names, as long as you had a way to get the pieces in the graveyard it would get these effects, which is cool because that means that you could build some sort of maybe Lightsworn Gate Guardian deck, which sounds crazy now that I'm saying it out loud, but sort of something like that, where it's like you play a mill deck with this card and you find some way to summon it with your other level 7s, and then if you have those pieces in the graveyard, well, now you get these huge benefits. And that second effect is really cool, and I do like the revival effect. I think that's pretty nice on a card like this. It doesn't really have a ton of inherent protection. There's no like anti-targeting or anti-destruction, but by being able to revive it, you know, that gives it like a little bit more staying power, you know.
You know what's really good about this card though?
What?
The fact that it's excellent Dragon Ruler support.
Yeah, yeah, there's a couple of these that were sent in where it's like, okay, you guys know that like there is one Dragon Ruler legal, right? And the other ones might someday be unbanned because, yeah, a lot of level 7 support in these cards.
Because like the last one, banish 2 level 7 monsters from your graveyard. Dragon Rulers, Omni Negate.
Oh my gosh. Next up, we have Depths of the Labyrinth Walls. Obviously, lots of Labyrinth Wall references in many of the cards that were submitted because that card is tied so closely to Gate Guardian. This is a field spell that says level 7 monsters can be normal summoned without tributing, so that obviously boosts your pieces here. Once per turn, you can reveal 3 level 7 monsters with different types, including at least 1 Kazejin, Suijin, or Sangha of the Thunder. From your deck, your opponent sends 1 to the graveyard, you add 1 to your hand, and you shuffle the 3rd into your deck. You can banish 3 level 7 monsters from your field or graveyard. More Dragon Lore support, hey. Special summon 1 Gate Guardian from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions, and if you do, it gains attack equal to the combined attack of the monsters banished by this effect. So ignoring the Dragon Ruler support, because yeah, this card would be pretty crazy with Dragon Rulers, like a lot of these cards would. I like this card because, you know, it does something pretty unique. It's sort of like a pantheism of the Monarchs, but it's a little bit different. And the attack boost is huge here. As we've seen with like the Raw support that just came out a few months ago, it seems like Konami, when they give legacy support to these like older monsters, they really like giving them like cards that boost their attack quite a bit. In many ways, this card almost seems like a card that could be printed.
It's a good card that allows you to bring it out easier, and then you gain gigantic attack, just like the Gaia cards. So link 1 monster, Rock just requires a level 5 or higher monster, so Labyrinth Wall.
Of course.
If this card is link summoned, you can reveal 1 Gate Guardian from your hand, and if you do, special summon up to 3 monsters listed on that card from your deck. Also, you can only normal or special summon once for the rest of the turn. Let's see. You can tribute this card, return up to 1 Sangha, Kazejin, and Suijin from your hand or graveyard to the bottom of your deck. Draw a number of cards equal to the number of cards you return to the bottom of your deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. So the second effect's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You tribute it, and you could return those 3 cards from your graveyard to your deck to draw 3 cards.
That actually makes me wonder if this card would even be played to summon Gate Guardian, or if it would just be played as like a draw 3. It turns any level 5 or higher monster into a like Pot of Greed, which is pretty nuts because you just return all of them to the bottom of your deck and then you can just get 3 draws. Are there any really insane rank 7s that you could make with 3 level 7s? Because that would be pretty crazy.
3 level 7s? There's that dice roll one.
Yeah, number 7 Lucky Straight. Perfect. we broke the game.
Hey, that one's pretty easy to get a 7 result.
This one is Gate Guardian Ascended, and this is like a retrain. Now this one, for what it's worth, I'm just going to tell you, it doesn't really make that much sense in the context of an actual Gate Guardian deck, but I still thought it was a cool idea. So this one says, if a monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect, you can banish 3 monsters with different attributes from your graveyard. So that's like the Gate Guardian ties. Special summon this card from the graveyard if it was there when the monster was destroyed, or hand, even if not. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can discard 1 card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So while on the field, this thing is pretty strong. Can't be destroyed by battle
Yeah.
or card effect, and it has like a negation effect like Dragoon, so obviously very good. It kind of reminds me of like a Mechlord Weisel from a while ago. It's a lot better than that, but it does take a little bit of setup. You do have to have 3 different attributes in your graveyard. But yeah, I thought this card was pretty cool.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be good in an invoked deck since they play a whole bunch of different types. Plus, that Omni Negate's super good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like a Dragoon that's not fusion.
Right. I mean, the only like real downside of it, besides requiring the setup of having different attributes in the graveyard, is just that it's not like a proactive card. You can't really summon it proactively because your monster has to be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Divine Serpent Gea, where summoning conditions are very similar. Oh, I love this one.
Yeah, this one's cool.
So, Neo Gate Guardian. Warrior Fusion, 4,000 attack. Requires 3 monsters with different attributes. So, great super poly target. Because it doesn't have any restrictions on it.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I'm too small brained. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I first saw. I was like, holy, this would be a excellent super poly target. Let's see what the effect is. As long as it's not terrible, that'll make it good on its own. This card can attack up to 3 times during each battle phase, but its attack is reduced by 1,000 for each additional attack until the end of the battle phase. So its second attack is 3,000, third attack 2,000. Your opponent cannot target other monsters for attacks if their attack is lower than this card's original attack. That's great because, these are supposed to be Guardian cards, so it actually protects your other cards. And if this card is summoned using 3 level 7 or higher monsters, other monsters you control are unaffected by monster effects from monsters with a lower original attack than this card. If this card is fusion summoned using Sangha, Kaze, and Suijin, this card is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. There it is. So if you do actually use the 3 original cards, then it gains the Ultimate Falcon effect.
Right.
And if it can attack 3 times with Ultimate Falcon, that's pretty good.
I'm just imagining someone super polying an entire like full board. You super poly 3 of your opponent's monsters, and then you can attack for 9,000 total damage. Seems fair to me. I mean, this is really pushing Gate Guardian. I don't know about the actual Gate Guardian, but I mean, this card's insane. It's super powerful.
I love it. So it's really good. A great super poly target, and it actually fits in with the theme of the card. It seems like it would be playable because, cards need to be a little bit broken if they're going to see play. But this one might be on the cusp of too broken. Needs to be brought down a little bit.
The only change that this card would need would be to make it like more fair, would be to make it only be able to attack monsters. I still think it would be very good as a super poly target, but that would mean that you couldn't just OTK your opponent super easily with it, but it would still be very strong. This was one of the first ones that I was sent. This is Gate Sentry, and I'll have to read that. I know it's pretty tiny for you. This is a level 1 Dark Warrior. This effect was kind of confusing when I first read it, but then it made sense. So it says, you contribute this card from your hand or face-up field, add 1 Gate Guardian from your deck or graveyard to your hand. If you control no monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Send 1 Sangha, Kazugen, or Suijin from your deck to the graveyard. Also send 2 monsters from your deck with the same type as that monster, but with a different name from each other and that monster. And if you do, special summon 1 Gate Guardian from your hand. For the rest of this turn, after this effect resolves, you can only special summon monsters with the same type as the sent monster. You can only activate each effect of Gate Sentry once per turn. So I was very confused, but basically how it works is that you tribute it to add the Gate Guardian to your hand, and then you banish it from your graveyard, and you would send like the Sangha of the Thunder and 2 other differently named Thunder type monsters from your deck to the graveyard to special summon the Gate Guardian right from your hand. So what this card would do is that it would allow you to play a deck that only used one of the pieces in a deck that was already that type, which could be kind of cool. I
That's
think
a good idea.
One of them's Aqua and one of them is a Spellcaster, I believe. So that would give you Thunder, Aqua, and Spellcaster decks that you could try just like playing Gate Guardian in. The benefit would be that you would then mill 2 monsters of that type to the graveyard, which could be pretty good.
Yeah, I love this one. It's just like Magician Souls, which means it would be played in anything but a Gate Guardian deck.
Yeah, but Gate Guardian would hit the board. He's actually used.
Let's see here. Master of the Elements. Field spell card. When this card is activated, you can send one Saga of the Thunder, Kazejin, or Suijin from your deck to your graveyard. Once per turn, you can target one Saga, Kazejin, or Suijin from your graveyard, banish it, and special summon one Gate Guardian from your hand, deck, or graveyard. When a card or effect is activated while you control Gate Guardian, quick effect, you can discard Saga of Thunder, Kazejin, or Suijin, target one card your opponent controls, shuffle it into your deck, and if you do that, Gate Guardian gains 1000 attack. Permanently. So the effect of special summoning Gate Guardian from the graveyard would have to be a recursion only, since you can't actually bring it out unless it was brought out properly first.
Yeah,
this card doesn't cheat it out properly.
Say, like, yeah, it would have to say like ignore the summoning conditions. A lot of people forgot to put that.
Well, even if it ignores the summoning conditions, it still wouldn't bring it out. But you're right, it doesn't work because
yeah,
it has to ignore it from the hand or deck.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, this seems like it'd be a really good way to get it out. And the quick effect on the field spell, I see this a lot on custom cards, and it only exists on like 1 or 2 official ones.
I like the quick effect on this card because it wasn't just a boring negate the effect, and I like that it encourages you to play extra copies of the pieces because you want to have them in your hand. I was just going to say, would it be crazy if it's not a once per turn, but it isn't a once per turn. So if you have...
It is limited by the resource cost, though.
Yeah, so for every single one of the parts you have in your hand, you get this effect. So that almost makes it like a Herald of Perfection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, could be interesting.
It's also not once per chain.
Oh, wow. Okay, it would probably have to be once per chain. Yeah. Gosh,
yeah, you might at least have to add that little part to it. Once per chain, like
Wait,
Lightning,
it's
Darkness,
also
Dragon.
not your opponent's effects. If you activate effects, you can use it aggressively. To like shuffle cards. I feel like I missed a couple of these things. Yeah, when a card or effect is activated, so you can just like keep doing it. That's pretty. That's pretty funny.
Okay, that's a way better way to use it. Yeah, that's why it doesn't have a negate, because you want to use this offensively.
Okay, this card is better than I thought it was. I loved all of the paint artwork submissions. So
yeah.
this is the only one that made it into the video, but I just want to say to all the people watching that gave submissions where they drew the artwork in paint, I got a huge kick out of them. I thought they were really cool, but this one I also thought had a pretty cool effect.
So, Link 3 monster, 2+ effect monsters, cannot be used as link material. The turn it is link summoned. Gains attack equal to the original attack of each level 7 monster it points to. Oh, that's why it has 500 attack. You can special summon one Saga of Thunder, Suijin, or Kazejin from your hand or deck to a zone this card points to. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, hard once per turn. You can only use each of the following effects of the first Guardian once per turn. Fact number 1. If you control Saga of Thunder, quick effect, you can target one card in the field, destroy it. If you control Suijin, quick effect, draw a card. If you control Kazejin, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, and negate the activation.
And what's really cool about this one that I liked is that it actually does kind of synergize with the effects of the pieces that make up Gate Guardian, because then your opponent isn't going to be able to just run those over by battle to avoid like losing to these effects. So I thought that was kind of cool. Probably would be a good card. It's super generic. It's one of the only a lot of people that sent fusions and synchros and link monsters required you to use higher leveled monsters to summon them. This one's just 2+ effect monsters, so you can make this thing super easily. The arrows are great just in general.
Yep.
I would almost even say that, like, maybe not now, but maybe a couple years ago, if this card would have been released, people would have just like played this and won Suijin when you're going first, just as like a way to make 3 downward pointing arrows with like a draw 1 effect, and it puts that monster on the board, so then you can use that for like synchro summons or link summons or exceed summons or whatever.
It's kind of like a Halki Fibrax. Except not as good.
It's Gate Guardian Fibrax, you know, everyone's favorite card.
Exactly.
That is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you to the TheDuelLogs for joining me in this custom card review. Make sure to go check out his channel because I think he posts a custom card review twice a day. So if you're really into this type of thing, I'm sure that you'll love his channel. Thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, make sure you guys go subscribe to him. His channel will be in the description below.